The brave prince. A prince was very kind and generous. He always used to distribute his wealth among the poor people. One day, he decided to get more wealth. Now, he had heard about a gem which could fulfill everyone's wishes. It was in a faraway land. The prince set off to get the gem. It was a very long journey. Finally, the prince arrived there. The people did not like him. However, he did not lose heart. He met the king. The king told him that his kingdom was in trouble. A giant was troubling them. The prince said, "I will kill the giant, but you will have to give me the gem in exchange." The king agreed. The prince fought with the giant and killed him. The king gave the prince the gem. The prince came back to his kingdom. From then on, no one was poor or unhappy, as the wish-fulfilling gem fulfilled everyone's needs. The man with a golden heart. There was a rich man. This rich man was very generous. He used to give alms to the poor. Nobody returned empty-handed from his doorstep. He became very famous because of his generous ways. The gods were seeing everything. They were very impressed by the rich man and his ways. But the king of gods said, "Let us test him. Will he be as generous when he is poor?" So the gods disguised themselves as thieves and robbed the rich man of his riches. The rich man became very poor. One day, the king of gods came disguised as a beggar and begged for food. The rich man had only one piece of bread which he was eating. But he quickly, without hesitating, gave it to the beggar. The king of gods was very happy with the rich man. He immediately returned all his riches. The king and the ascetic. Once, a man became an ascetic. His wife happily accompanied him wherever he went. Many years passed by. One day, a king was passing by where they lived. He was attracted to the ascetic's wife. The king thought of carrying her away. But first, he wanted to know what the ascetic would do if he took the wife away. In order to examine the powers of the ascetic, the king asked, "What would you do if a thief or a wild animal attacked your wife?" The ascetic replied, "I would not release him." The king thought that the ascetic was harmless and had no powers. He quickly dragged the wife towards his chariot. Suddenly, the king had a thought. He came and asked the ascetic, "Whom did you refer to as him?" The ascetic replied, "Him meant anger." Then the ascetic preached the king about the flaws of anger. The words of the ascetic changed the king. He begged the ascetic's forgiveness and returned his wife. Generosity defeats death. Once upon a time, a rich man was famous for his generosity. In those days, a sage was meditating in the forest. While meditating, he remained without eating or drinking. When he returned to his ordinary state, he was in danger of dying from starvation. So he went to the rich man to get food. Now, the god of death was watching all this. When he saw that the sage was near death from starvation, he decided to take him to his abode. And so, before the rich man could give food to the sage, the god of death caused a deep pit of red-hot burning coals to appear between them. But the rich man was not afraid. He crossed the burning pit and remained unharmed. Then he gave food to the sage. The god of death was defeated. He was amazed at the power of generosity.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.